You've probably heard of the Mighty Switch Force games, but before that, WayForward kicked off the franchise with Mighty Flip Champs for DSiWare in 2009. When Mighty Flip Champs started, I had no idea what the hell was going on. There's no explanation, no story, nothing. The game just starts and you see a character on a 2D stage on the top screen with another character on the bottom screen mimicking the top screen's character, yet the worlds are slightly different. Obviously, I clued in after a couple of minutes that there's no jumping or running or traditional 2D platformer mechanics. Instead, you walk on the top screen, flip the world to get the bottom on the top, then try to reach the fishman thing to clear the level. It's much easier to understand what Mighty Flip Champs is by watching it rather than listening to me explain it. The thing that took me the longest to clue into is that there's actually up to 7 versions of the stage happening at once, not just 2 as the first level would have you believe. And it changes from level to level. Once I figured that out, I started to understand Mighty Flip Champs. It's a puzzle game, obviously, but the way forward is much less complicated, at first. While the first few levels ease you into the mechanics, it starts getting tough real quick. You can't just take your time to solve each level either because the game grades you. You want to aim for an S rank, except I never got higher than a D. To improve your times, you'll need to flip the world quickly and efficiently. That's another layer of strategy here. While you can't do much except walk and climb, flipping the world at the right time and place is the biggest mechanic. And on just the 6th level, you have to take a leap of faith. Time your flip correctly, you win. Fail, you land on spikes and have to restart. Spikes aren't the only hazard. Just like Nightcrawler, you can't teleport yourself into a wall. If you do, you have to restart. Make no mistakes, Mighty Flip Champs is not for the faint of heart. In just the 7th level, I spent probably 10 minutes trying to reach the end. For the rest of the levels, I'd say I averaged a 2-minute first clear time. That doesn't include all the restarts I had to do though, which likely sent me to a 5-minute average. So if you don't think you're at least as smart as I am, not an easy bar to reach, I know, you might not enjoy Mighty Flip Champs as much as I did. And yes, I did enjoy it a lot. While it could easily be a frustrating game with the amount of restarts you have to do, you do learn something new from each failure. At times, I felt like I was playing a plane-shifting Tetris with how everything's set up. If you know me, you know I can get frustrated by puzzle games that are too difficult. I never really got that way with Mighty Flip Champs. However, an undo button would have improved Mighty Flip Champs so much for me. That's because the climbing, unfortunately, has a major issue. No matter how careful I thought I was, I'd be slightly off-center when I tried to move either left or right on an L, and the game would send me plummeting into spikes. And if you're not careful while hanging onto a ladder while flipping the world, you'll fall off as well. It's little things like these that kept Mighty Flip Champs from entering the highest tier. Despite the issues I had, I always felt like the developers were smarter than me, something absolutely necessary in a puzzle game. Once I realized I just needed to trust them, I began relaxing and figuring out levels quicker. It can be daunting when you start a new puzzle and you see there's 7 rooms. By trusting the developers though, you'll eventually see the pattern. Because while you might think you're stuck, there's always a way to free yourself, like that damned roadrunner who I haven't been able to catch yet. Oh, and being able to mark a spot on all the maps does come in super handy. There's a total of 40 levels spread across 5 worlds, with most of those worlds introducing new mechanics. World 2 has switches, World 3 has breakable blocks and portals, then Worlds 4 and 5 expand on those mechanics and force you to do some white knuckle flipping in single spaces to avoid spikes and land in a portal. Each world then ends with a special level where a flip happens every few seconds automatically. You have no control. It helps break up the pacing, giving you a more frantic level instead of being able to play at your own speed. This all changes in the final level of World 5, which requires pinpoint flipping and no blinking. Then we have the final level. This is a 6.5-minute gauntlet of perfectly sadistic hell. If it wasn't so beautifully designed, I'd be calling the developers a few choice words right now. Like butthead. All in all, WayForward absolutely nailed everything you want from a puzzle game. It's not too easy, not too hard, and there's always a solution if you just keep trying.